When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten and the damned?
Did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up.
And I told the world to see me, cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's meant to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. Here I go.
Yo, give me 1 second, y'all. All right. It is Bloody Wednesday, and we are back. Just a little bit later than what I meant. Not too much later. But I mean, honestly, like, these late night streams have kind of been bangers. So I don't mind pushing it back a little bit later. Yo, what's up? I know real news. Good to have you in here, man. And also, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, so I always love seeing new faces. We'll give it just a second. I'm assuming that, you know, I just tweeted everything out. Should be getting some new people in here soon. And the interesting thing will be to see how many people survived to hop in here. Yo, Sandy, how did the poker session go, man? Hopefully made back a little bit of what the markets gave up today. Also, if you guys, for like the 7 degens that are in here right now, could show love to this tweet, that would be amazing also. You know, we'll see. It's all an experiment. Yo, Skitarius. Yeah, sailing. I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. You know, like nothing I haven't seen before. You know, that's part of trading. You're gonna have times where you're right, times where you're wrong, and you know, it's just about about figuring out how to make it through, man. In for 1K, out for 5,200. Yeah, I'd call that solid, man. Love to hear that. Shskumi Flurgles, GM to you too. Dude, what kind of name is that? That's you know, that's the most amazing thing about doing any type of streaming or spaces in general. Like whenever I host spaces, one of my favorite guys that I have up on stage with me sometimes, his name is brainfart.eth. And in what type of professional setting where somebody has a full-time job are they having conversations with somebody where they are regularly saying, brainfart.eth, what do you think about this? And like same thing with Shskumi Splurgles. You know, like people don't understand this is my full-time job. So, you know, my full-time job is to say names like that, like Skitarius. Like, what do you picture when you see, you know, like, I don't know, if Skitarius is some type of anime thing. Yo, Dime, what's going on, man? Welcome back. You've got some explaining to do for the other night. Hey, and Dime, you're welcome to join me again if you want. You don't have to, but you know the invite's always welcome. You could make fun of me and you know we could talk about lessons learned from the other night. Okay, so Skitaris, it is a thing from Warhammer 40K. I was gonna say, like, I have no idea if it was just yeah, of course, Dime. Like, you know, the people love you. I love you. So yeah, get up here. It's better to talk than me just like, give me a second. I'm gonna pull up Discord. We'll get Dime up here. Yeah, I mean it's true, but dude, that's the thing. The life of just everything with crypto and trading, it is a never ending lesson. So we're gonna get Dime up here. I'm gonna mute the desktop audio for a second while I get him up. Give me a second, y'all. I'm still a little bit slow at this, but we're gonna do a little combo work here in a second. It'll be more fun. Okay, now we're just waiting for Dime to join. Okay, you know, we got a few people rolling in though. Like, this isn't too bad. Yo, Dime, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I'm going to go ahead and kick you over to the audio of the stream.
Wonderful.
All right, stream. Can we hear Dime? Dime, go ahead and give your shout out real quick. Let's see.
Oh my God! Someone please buy silver, please, please. It's been so long, please.
Just so you know it's him. Just so you know it's him. Okay, I'm also gonna let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit of music.
I promise you won't get trapped for 10 years like me.
I mean, 10 years, you're right. Like, it's already been 10 years. No way that we end up lasting 2 decades, right?
Right.
Here, I'm also going to tweet out that you're in here, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, Dime, tell me, man, how has it been for you today?
I mean, I shorted SPY a little bit, but otherwise... Oh, you want to see something really funny? Did you see SEI list on Coinbase? This is hilarious. Hello?
Shoot, I actually muted my mic. Okay.
Oh,
STI. I don't know why I did it. I just pressed the wrong button.
Look at SE as in Edward, I as in Igloo.
Okay.
USD on Coinbase.
Well, I'm gonna go. Oof. Oh, I thought KuCoin would have a longer listing than Coinbase, so.
They were just listed. Put it on the 15-minute chart.
Who is SEI? Like, what is SEI?
I have no idea. I bought a bag yesterday when it listed. Put it on the 15-minute.
It's on the 15-minute. It's on it.
Sorry, there's a delay on your feed.
So
I bought it at listing yesterday, and I went to bed, and I woke up. Oh my God, I'm up 400%, and then I woke up again, and it was nuked.
So you didn't sell it at 400%?
Oh, I was asleep. It was midnight, 12:30 my time. Like I saw it. I was like up 100%, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wonder what's gonna happen tomorrow. And then I woke up, and I mean, look at the price action. It's like 3 a.m., 6 a.m. your time. And it just went vertical, and then, but it was trading like double what it was trading everywhere else, like on Binance and whatever. I'm just kind of trying to buy like random trash on Coinbase because I know it'll pump eventually. Like, this is the time, and like 16 cents or whatever is like good entry. So I'll just.
And again, you bought this just because it was listed. Like, we're back to the listing meta.
Oh yeah, no, like I didn't put anything crazy in it. It's just like I also bought Sui the other day. Like, I'm just trying to buy like sub $1.
Is SEI a base coin?
I have no idea. I did no research. I did not put. I put dust in it. Like, I.
Oh no, that's not even SEI. Like, I'll just have to look it up. Let's see if I can find anything about it on Twitter. Okay, of course. Dude, I hate whenever you search cash tags. You always have to do minus airdrop. I really should mute the word airdrop. Okay, let's do minus airdrop, minus NFT.
Not gonna make it. You're gonna miss the one airdrop. I remember when sushi happened and everyone was talking about it, and I'm like, I do not give a flying crap about this. And then I muted it, and then I missed Altcoin Psycho's call for it to run to new highs, and I'm like, what in the hell? Pretty upset about that one.
And especially, like, do you think we're going to have another airdrop season like that again? Or do you think, like, I think the only thing, airdrop season now is basically just, you have to participate in these different chains. You have to bridge over. You have to, like, it's reward-based economy, right? Like, but I'm wondering, are we, oh, here we go. SEI Network, the fastest L1. So it's an L1 apparently. Another L1 that I've somehow never heard about.
Yeah, like I said, like I'm just kind of trying to like.
But it's got 500,000 followers. 60 people I follow it. So,
I'm doing real left of the curve here. Like I'm just kind of buying. I'm buying tokens that have no price history.
Bro, that's
that are
wild.
On Coinbase. Like I'm just throwing like anywhere from like $100 to $1,000 into some of these positions. Like the rest of my capital is going to real projects that like have a history of some sort, but the goal is really just to like what if this is the one that goes to like $20, $30, $40. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I'm just going based on feel and gut.
Okay, so the question is, with something like this, how long are you holding it now?
I'm just gonna sit on it until whatever bull cycle happens.
Well, okay, question. If it ran up a 4x again, are you selling? Or are you like, okay, no, it was able to reclaim these highs. It's going higher. I'm just going to ride it until the bull market.
I might just take out my initial position at that point and just be like, okay, it's free money now. But,
okay.
Like, I didn't have, like, that top only lasted, like, 30, 40 minutes. Like, I wouldn't have had time to even, like, deal with that unless I was really, really swift with that.
No, it's true. That's true. I mean, but it really does remind me of trading on, like some of these dexes, basically like the type of pump that you get right after they list. Like that's exactly what this reminds me of. Just, way larger market cap, obviously. And I'm assuming a little bit more liquid. Let's just put volume on here. I want to see what type of volume hit afterwards in these 15-minute candles. Okay, so you had a few mil of volume on some of the larger candles there.
Yeah,
pretty. I mean, point being, it's more liquid than your average shitcoin right after listing. So more liquid, but same type of price action as what you see on some of these. Like if I was going to dive through and go through the different whatever the newest thing listed on, like let's see what some of these ridiculous pairs are that are listed right now on the terminal.
My philosophy is pretty much like you never know what's going to be the next link.
Like Rogue Toshi, like Baby Shib, eFOMO, Prince Harry Potter Stable Hawking. What is this one? Prince Harry Potter Stable Hawking Moisturous S Habis Ex Inu. Actually, I kind of like that chart too, but I mean, like.
What an amazing name.
Prince Harry Potter stay like that is what the new meta is. It's like, which don't buy this shit, anybody. Like I'm just clicking the most ridiculous names I can find. Yeah, but I mean, like same type of thing with this. Whatever the hell this is, boom, pump, whatever. That's what Say looks like. And apparently Say is the fastest layer 1 network that nobody has ever heard about.
There's so many fast layer 1s. It's amazing. They're all the fastest somehow.
Yeah, every single one is.
They all want those nice marketing taglines.
And see, I want to know, the thing that I'm not as up to speed on right now, Dime, that I need to get more up to speed on, is like what is the consensus mechanism for a bunch of these different new L1s that are out there? Right,
I mean, my thought process is I don't care. It just in a genuine.
So you're not in it for the tech. You are not in it for the tech, is what you're telling me right now,
dude. people only get in it for the tech at the top. Like that's a coping mechanism. We know this.
Oh man.
Going back to that weird coin you were just on, this is the Ether Rock effect, because it's like once
I'm
Ether
gonna
Rocks
get off
happen,
this. I said I'm getting off that also, so nobody sees it up on the tab and is like, oh, I should buy whatever that is.
but it's like the Ether Rock effect in that like the Ether Rocks like showed like the most audacious concepts are the ones that pump the most, and now we have like Baby Sheep, and now people are like pushing the envelope with like these super weird long names, and it's just the more absurd something is, the more likely it is to pump. Like that's just the new unwritten rule of crypto.
So Dime, if you were gonna make up a token right now, what would you call it? I'll give you a couple minutes. We can shape this throughout the course of the course of the stream.
How about silver that actually pumps? Lol.
Silver that actually pumps. That is a meme. Like I kind of love that. Silver that which chat for everybody that doesn't know and missed the other night when Dime was on here. Dime, you want to know how long of a day it's been for me where I've just been completely unplugged? Where, like some days you see the charts moving like this and you're like, F it, I'm just going to step outside, not really look at too much, not focus on anything, kind of just let this volatility settle out a little bit. I initially put the name.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, apparently you are. I made it happen. We're here right now. But the name of the stream when I first started it, I put Bloody Monday. I thought it was a Monday. And it's Wednesday, so I changed it fast before anybody made a comment. But as soon as I published it and I went live, I sat there for a second. I was like, wait, is it actually Monday today? Because it kind of felt like it was. So then I looked down at my calendar. I had to look at the calendar and I'm like, actually, no, it is in fact Wednesday. And that's how out of the loop I've been all day. But yeah, anyway.
You need a job, bro.
Dude, I do. I do.
Bear market job.
Yeah, no, like actually, I really do.
I hear McDonald's is hiring.
Oh, dude. I mean, honestly, though, I might need to, like, not even meme wise, especially after today. Let's look at this. So, I mean, silver really is a meme. I mean, I'm not it doesn't deserve a long chart.
It really doesn't.
So,
no, I'll just say the same thing I said the other night. Like it's gonna pump eventually, but it's absolutely horrible to hold it as an asset. It barely beats inflation, which is better than a lot of things did in the last couple of years. But send it at some point, please. Please send it. Someone, please send it.
Dime, technically, since inflation really started to ramp up, was late 2020. Like, let's be real, right? It has not beaten inflation at all since inflation really started to ramp up. Let's be real, man.
My theory is that silver front ran inflation. Like the metal,
okay,
all of them.
But point being, you had to own it before inflation really. I mean, well before inflation really kicked off.
Oh yeah, no, I got
to
it.
be
like,
up on it.
I bought it when like silver was like what was it? No, when Bitcoin was like 200. So like back in 2015, 2014. So I'm hanging out, but it's still like, oh my god, why have I held this cursed metal for so long?
Yeah,
the chat is really demanding crypto though, so maybe we should.
Yeah. We'll switch back over to crypto. I'm sorry, but remember, chat. We only brought up silver because Dime is going to now create a coin called Silver that actually pumps. Like, this is going to be the 15-second chart on his coin. What it's going to look like.
That would be really funny.
Yeah, hey, if this were a 15-second chart, I'd be really bullish on it. Like, send it. I'd buy that.
Silver's just a very slow Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. Let's look at Solana. Some guy named Wyatt asked for Solana.
Solana. Do you want me to start with USD or BTC? We'll start USD. Actually, I'm going to go I hate always having to dig through and find the chart that has the most, like, the longest data. Usually it's Binance.
I miss the FTX Sol chart.
I do too. The FTX Sol chart was beautiful, but I mean, like, the Binance one basically has everything, right?
Right, it has most of it, but there was like an entire segment on the left-hand side that's now gone forever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll go
The only
to
thing
daily.
it really has, the only thing it really has going on right now is it's back testing. I think the 200 EMA. I know you're not an EMA guy, really, but
No, I like EMAs. So let's see.
you just don't
Yeah.
keep them on your chart. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the
Bounced
first
off it perfectly.
That's the first significant EMA flip that we've seen in a year plus.
Yeah, right there, and it's held.
Twice, but
So I like that. I actually do. I mean, what do you like?
I mean, I don't think we're in up only times yet.
I don't either. But I
Man.
mean, I don't think that this screams to me sell everything, you know, or completely nuking either.
I mean, what Altcoin Psycho said on his stream was effectively like, I'm buying anything under 20 and just forgetting about it, which is kind of my plan. Like, I think they're going to have to run tokens like Solana up to help the FTX liquidators get out.
Yeah.
And I know that's a really lazy way to look at it, but at the same time, it's like, if it pumps, they're gonna be selling at the ass all the way up. BCH got murdered today?
Yeah, I want to check it out. Dude, I've got all these old lines from other streams, and like a lot of the time I forget what I was saying as I drew them. So I just have to come. Oh, see, boom, I actually got rid of the EMA. I'll put it back
Oh
up
wow,
there.
BCH did get murdered today. Well, it kind of deserved it.
Let's go over to it. You know, like the BTC chart for Sol. We'll go to BCH next because I'm really interested. But here was the thing I wanted to say with the BTC chart. Right now, it's still technically underneath high time frame resistance, right? So, I don't know, man. Like, I would really, as much as I think a lot of people want just an immediate leg up from here if this breaks, I still really don't think it would give an immediate leg up, even if it did break. But I do think it's going to break above that eventually. It's just one of those things, again, I don't think that we're in that type of territory right now, Dime, because all these charts that I'm expecting on these high time frame breaks to have this massive impulse move really aren't doing that. Instead, they're doing something like this, you know, like bleeding back on here, bleeding back, staying above the break. And I think, you know, it's more likely that you get that type of reversal than just straight this.
No, conditions are not ideal for it at all in any sense. Like,
I mean, do you kind of agree with what I'm saying there, though? Like, you know, in bull market, you get boom. This, it is just this massive, whenever you get a break like that, it is straight up only. It is what it is. Right now in a bear market, it's a longer, more drawn out process to get back to those levels. But either way, I like Sol. I like it as a long-term play, like you said.
I just buy some periodically and add it to my staking stack. I try to buy red days. Oh, do you remember AKT?
Yeah, Akash.
Yeah, do you still have it? Did you ever buy it?
I never had it. Like I knew it. That was always you and Psycho. I mean, Psycho got you on. I know he became the validator on the network. I saw that what's his name tweeted it out. Jeremy Allaire tweeted out about it. The Coinbase, or not Coinbase, the Circle CEO.
Jeremy Allaire.
Yeah, the Circle CEO. He tweeted out something about Akash.
Recently?
Like 3 days ago, bro. It's your bags.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, like here, I'll pull it up in a second. I just wanted to.
I'm pulling it up right now, but you should look at the chart. I'm back in profit finally after 2 years.
Really, dude, that's huge. Well, I mean, does that include staking rewards? Because I'm assuming you've been staking it, right?
Yeah, the staking rewards were like 50% for a good long while, and that helped me build up a really decent stack. I found the tweet, but that helped me build up like a really decent stack, and now it's only yielding like 8%, which is not great, but also the emissions always have to come down.
So let's see. Yeah, this is basically, I think, where along the lines of like where Jeremy Allaire tweeted, and it just ripped.
It turned into an AI play because they're starting up a how do I word this, a GPU marketplace, and I believe stakers are eventually going to get a piece of revenue from the actual GPU marketplace and the hosting. Look at the osmosis. No, that works too.
What's that?
If you go into the search for AKT USD, they now list like the osmosis chain, like the on-chain swapping.
Okay, that is the furthest back. Again, like that's the most annoying thing, Chad. I brought it up earlier, but it is finding for a bunch of these which one is going to have the most data to be able to track it back on.
I actually proposed to TradingView. I was like, hey, for these crypto tokens, can you like mark whichever one has the most price history? Because that would be immensely useful, because some of these exchanges are just gone now.
I will Dime, this is beautiful though.
Oh yeah, no, it's perfect.
It's not listed like, what's the largest exchange it's listed on? Like
Probably
it's still Bitfinex.
I think Ascendex.
I mean, but point being, it's still not on Binance, which surprises me. I always thought it was. It's still not on Bybit.
I'm surprised it's not on Coinbase because it's a staker-friendly coin.
It's not on Coinbase. Yeah, I mean, I'd say honestly, Akash is like, from that perspective and the perspective that it's still alive, like you said, pivoting to an AI play. You know, if it does really remain an AI play, dude, freaking you and Psycho are going to be banking this next cycle, because I could see it as one of those that, you know, almost like Decentraland and some of those that kind of resurged as metaverse plays. The next cycle where they weren't really, they basically died out and had no hope, and out of nowhere, boom, they sent it. Last bull market. I could see this as maybe being one of those.
Yeah, I mean, AKT is like, it's an actual project that is being developed. Like, Greg and his whole team have been working on this the entire bear market, and the narrative is obviously there if AI continues to take off. Like, if this goes to $10, I would be absolutely euphoric. Like, I'll be very happy with that. But it's just kind of like, I've held it for so long, I might as well. I already found the tweet. I've held it for so long at this point that it's just like, might as well collect the yield and see what happens.
I know you found it. I'm just trying to find it now.
It's a little below this.
Right there. Decentralized cloud infrastructure is a service with globally available programmable settlement currency, USDC, Akash Network, open source super cloud.
I think RNDR is doing something similar, but I don't know anything about that project. But all I really know about Akash is they're going to eventually start revenue sharing when they get the main nets and everything up, because you're going to be able to buy hosting, you're going to be able to like cloud source GPUs, and that's huge in an environment where AI is starting to take over.
Dude, you know who I should get on here too? Like Ace.
He just liked your tweet.
And then, you know, we would just need AMD and Psycho to round it out. I haven't talked to AMD in years, man. I actually haven't.
He's in like fucking Brazil or something.
He kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, he's living like a good life. He's having a great time. I actually just DM'd him this afternoon. I was like, bro, how are you?
Yeah, I hope he's doing well. Do you always remember his dating stories from back in the day where he would talk about how, and this is, you know, he had like 20,000 followers, And he would talk about how on dates he would subtly flex his Twitter account just as a flex. And he's like, yeah, like I'm kind of famous.
Wait,
and
are we allowed to do that?
I mean, no, I do not do that. I don't think it's a flex personally.
Yeah, baby. I'm a niche internet micro celebrity.
Well, the tough thing though is whenever anybody asks me what I do, and like, dude, I'm a terrible liar. I used to be an engineer, and I'll say, oh yeah, like I used to be an engineer. They're like, well, what do you do now? And I'm like, I run a digital media marketing company.
Oh.
They're like, so what do you do with that? And then like people just ask questions. I'm like, quit being so interested. You're supposed to not listen, ignore it, and move on. Right? Like
I've like hinted that I do social media, and they're like,
yes,
oh, what's
AD
your account?
Kaleo does read chat.
And they're like, oh, what do you do? What's your account? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that is a girlfriend question, not a random girl I met at a bar question.
Okay, and also, AD, I read chat a lot better whenever I'm not having a combo, so I apologize. It's just, it's a lot easier whenever you have somebody up here to just flow with the combo versus whenever you're on here by yourself, you're like, okay, like, what does chat have next, right? Because that's the only person you're having a combo with.
What Kaleo is trying to say is that I am far more interesting and funny than you.
Yes.
It's nothing personal. It's just, that's just the reality of the
Get
situation.
over it. Hey, and again, another thing that I forgot to do, this is something that you're supposed to do like 5 minutes into the video or the stream and not 30 minutes into the stream. But if you are enjoying what you're hearing so far with just us BSing and, like maybe sprinkling some alpha, probably not, probably just, talking more stuff that's not going to happen. And we're going to commiserate about it during the next stream. But if somehow you enjoy all of that, if you could smash that like button, help us with the algos. If you could hit that subscribe button as well, maybe drop a comment and let us know, or let me know what you like, what you don't like, and we'll I'll try to apply it for the next stream going forward. But definitely appreciate that. Appreciate y'all being on here. Try to do one of these just about every single day. Switch up the format here and there. Try to bring on guests that have the incredible resumes that Crypto Paradigm does as well, which if you are not following Dime, that is another thing. We'll go ahead and give the Dime shout out right now. Again, give our man a follow. Huge Pepe Bull, as you can see right here. Loves President Trump and peanuts. And everything on here is financial advice. Ignore the blue part. Financial advice, higher for longer only. And again, he is coming up with his own meme coin right now called Silver Up Only, or silver that actually goes up.
Silver that actually pumps, I think.
Or silver that actually pumps. Hey, like Sandy, maybe like if you want to be a mod, I'll figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do mods. I mean, do we have anything bad going on in the chats right now, though?
I don't think so. I haven't seen one spam. Like, I've been in Trader SZ's streams before, and he just gets spam and haters. But that's also because he's him, and he's I don't know if he's bigger than you, but like,
well,
he's got so much spam.
Oh, on YouTube, way bigger. Like, he's been doing the YouTube stuff for a couple years now. He was smart and started during the bull market, so I think he's got like 60-something thousand subs on there. Hey, we're fresh. Like, this is basically week number 2 for me, and I'm only at, I think, 3,400-ish. But hey, I'm like, I'm up 1,000 so far in the past couple of weeks. So really think it's one of those things where I can slowly grind up. And if I've got a baseline of like 20, 30, 40,000 subs sometime by like next bull market or, next summer, I think it's a decent launch pad to really be able to build something quick as the bull market accelerates. So that's kind of the goal. But yeah, no, Trader SZ has a much larger, like, I've got a larger Twitter audience, but not by a ton. But I mean, I've got a larger following on there. But he definitely, like, he's a more polarizing individual, I think. Like, he loves to elicit a reaction.
Yep. This is all very accurate. I'm sure one of the people in here is going to go run and tell him that we talked smack about him.
I mean, I don't know what smack I've talked about him. Like,
No, they'll just make it up. They'll just tell him that Dime and Kaleo were on stream talking mad smack.
I hope they do. I really hope they do. You know, like, let me farm that engagement. I am here for all the farming on that.
That's his only value, is giving you engagement.
Hey, that's how I'm trying to, like, that's how we get paid these days, man, is engagement farming, right? Like, the more, like, honestly, that's not a bad idea for making money on here.
It's very weird. Like we could get into like a whole esoteric discussion on like the future of Twitter and X, and it's all getting very weird at this point. But
dude,
they're about to start pushing IDs. Like they say it's optional for now, but how long do you think it's going to be optional?
Okay, I'm confused about that too. What do they mean by pushing IDs? Because you basically dox yourself if you want to get paid in the first place, and you opt into that, right? I guess, but you don't have to give your ID to do that. You just have to dox your identity and your bank account info.
Yeah. I don't really. I'm not going to pretend that I know what's going on there, but it's complicated. Like I don't know what Elon's doing, because X is turning into WeChat for America real quick, and it's probably going to be super cool, and it's probably going to work really well. But there's going to be obvious like surveillance concerns, and it's going to turn X into a honeypot for a lot of information. Like we already see what they're doing to Trump right now. They're trying to search.
Well, that's where the value is, right? The value for them is in the more information they can collect about their users. I mean, like I know that Elon said that he's not planning on selling it, doing all the stuff that that Zuck and them do. But yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right. Like they're going to do something with that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I really enjoyed Twitter because it was just where you could go to post your brain farts and talk to people and meet new communities, and now it's like this whole transactional thing, and it just kind of starting to feel a little gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. I wish he had just taken Twitter's user data and said, hey, we're making this other site, all Twitter users have been imported over, you don't have to activate your account, but you've been imported over, we'd love to have you, blah blah blah, and then like let the market decide. Instead he's like eliminated 15 years of branding to make his site sound like a porn site, and it's just, it seems so silly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I think some of this, though, I think there's some cons to the payout. I think there's some pros too. I thought about it. I'm like, man, I would have been making bank in the bull market off that, but at the same time, I would have been making bank. But to me, at the time, I wouldn't have considered it as much because I had enough. Like, I was just breaking in at the top, bro. Like, where I remember there was a period, Dime in April of 21. Like, not only was I having those $1 million P&L days, whatever the hell, but I had multiple, like, that month, I was averaging for that month somehow, like, 10K a day off ref fees.
I only got up to like, I think the most I ever got in a day was like 3,000, but there was definitely a very strong period.
Yeah.
Where I was getting like $1,000, $2,000 a day on the regular, and then it just died off.
And then it dies, right? Like it ended up dying off, and then of course, you know, when FTX collapsed, it completely died. But like during that period of time, like I would have been like, oh, that's cute, X, you're gonna pay me 10 grand for like last month, nice. Like, and now I'm like, please God, X, like what shit do I need to talk on Twitter to get like 5 grand in a month? Please let me know, like whose dick do I need to suck? I'm sorry, I should not have said that. Like, take it all back. I'm not that desperate, but really, if you know, DM me.
I remember I got liquidated at some point. Like, I don't know if I fell asleep in my computer and forgot to set a stop or whatever, but I remember I got liquidated, and I think the next day, and this is like completely by accident, just didn't have a stop loss on there for some reason. And the next day I'm like, and I think I was on your referral, and I messaged you the next day and like, bro, I think I just donated like 20 grand to your ref link.
Oh, that's painful.
No, it's part of the game. Like,
yeah.
I did it to myself. It's only my fault. I don't blame anyone else. But I just thought it was funny because I was on your ref link, and well, I had 1,000 FTT at the time, so like I was getting like a bump on my referral payouts, which was just absolutely amazing.
Dude, I had Shardy trading on my ref link, and I know she was trading like massive volume at the time. And she DM'd me and had the audacity to ask if I would pay her. And like, should I have?
Silly.
Honestly, probably I should have. But
no one made her sign up.
But I was like, at the same time, I'm like, I didn't make you do shit. Like, if you want to do it, great. But I'm not like paying you to stay on here. You know, like
I had some poor reply guy who messaged me. I think like not at the top but close to it, and like asking about FTX. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's what we're all using right now. Blah blah blah. And he's like, cool, thanks. Took the ref link, ran. I think he did some volume. I don't know. I never really asked for his information. And then as soon as FTX knew, he would not stop DMing me like, this is your fault. You need to give me all my money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, brah, the entire space just got rugged. Like, this is not my fault. You came asking for it. Like, there was no way that I could have known that Sam was going to fucking do this. Like, I'm so sorry this happened. And he kept pushing and pushing. I had to block him eventually. But it's just so sad that, like, FTX just... even the smartest people in this space got absolutely destroyed by FTX.
Oh, it hurts, just, man. I mean,
I got my money off like right before. Obviously, I had insider info. Just kidding, I did not. But like and then I just like I felt like almost a survivor's guilt. It's like, oh my god, it was so awful. What a like it was worse than the COVID nuke in some ways.
Yeah, you know what I should have known? I should have known where they invited me to this F1 event in Austin. And I went, and it was like me and all of their FTX US market makers. So, you know, like a lot of really important people than just this random dude from Twitter. And they treated me like shit. I kid you not. Where we went out and like...
They just wanted to say that you were there.
No, here's the deal. So... each day they made it sound like I was going to go down to the pit and do all that type of stuff. Well, you know, they put me on these bleacher seats in the farthest turn corner walking that you could possibly go. And every single one of their, like, you know, the staff people that were there went with the other market makers down to the pit. And then me and my ex walked like a mile and a half over to this turn, sat in the heat, did whatever, and then we'd get back on the bus at the same time as them, the bus that would shuttle take us back, and they'd be flexing these pictures that they took with Lewis Hamilton, this and that and the other, and we'd be sweating our asses off, like, you know, having the shittiest time, because, dude, I looked it up, I could have bought those tickets for $15 a pop. Right? Like, it's like, why would I make a trip like that for $15 tickets? And then we'd go out and they'd have like a bar tab and they'd be buying drinks for all, like, literally everybody else. I'd be over there. They would not do shit so I knew something was off. I bitched them out about it. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, if this is the way you treat people, I don't want to be associated with y'all anymore. That was like the worst invitation I've ever gotten to anything in my life. And this was a week before they collapsed. So they were like riding me hard to please Kaleo, like, don't say anything about this. You know, like, we care about you. You're, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you know, it is what it is. I was still thinking about dumping them at that point because they just treated me with such disrespect, man. Even the guys that were there that were like the market makers, that I feel bad for them. They probably got completely effed right after that too. Anyway, they were like, dude, are they seriously like in here just flexing all these pictures to you when you're not even get the opportunity to do the things that they're flexing? It's like one of them should be up in the stands and you should have that opportunity. Anyway.
Carolyn laughing about the concept of stop losses was a bit of a red flag in hindsight. That was weird. But it is really just strange to find out that these kids were just high on amphetamines and living in a polycule or whatever that means.
Oh, yeah. Like
something went truly wrong here, and I'm really looking forward to the trial. Like, this is going to be immensely entertaining. Like, there's no cameras, so we're not going to see in the courtroom, but it's going to be like Ross Ulbricht on steroids. Like
reading the transcripts.
Reading the transcripts, because I think they're going to like go through sessions. People are going to come out and report things that happen in court. The movie is going to be depressing. But I love that Sam is in jail. Like he deserves horrible things. Like not violent, just like in terms of like his sentence. Like I want him to lose 10 years of his life for what he did.
Yeah.
And I tried to be the devil's advocate. Like maybe something just went wrong. Like maybe it's not as bad as, and it's just like got worse and worse and worse. And I'm just like, fucking, like I have zero sympathy. I hope they throw the book at him. But I'll stop ranting about it. Like it's just a bad situation.
Okay. I want to pick your brain on something else along these lines then.
Okay.
So, OpenX and Suzu and Kyle. Thoughts? I'll play the devil's advocate. Whatever side you take, I'm going to take the other.
I don't think that they're the worst bad guy in this story. I think that they got extremely over-leveraged and careless. And they didn't secure enough downside protection in case they were wrong. They were still high on the fumes of the bull market like we all were, but everything that happened to them was immensely avoidable. And the fact that they just ran away from justice is just kind of a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Like Terra Luna, like whatever his name, Duquan, he kind of deserved that. Like I think he got arrested a few months ago. We haven't heard anything from him in a hot minute, as far as I remember. And like that was always kind of like a Ponzi scheme. Everyone knew it was a Ponzi. Everyone knew it wasn't going to last like a super long time. Like that yield's just not sustainable. But 3AC, like they were careless with other people's money to an extent that just absolutely nuked the crypto market.
Well, so
and on some level,
here's the argument, right? Like here's the argument. I told you I'm going to take counter to whatever position that you end up saying. What they will say is that, you know, hey, it was actually Alameda that was chasing our stops here, and they were the ones that were, you know, coming after us, wanted to trigger this event. They were out for the blood. And yeah, you know, like it was all of them, their fault that we ended up collapsing. It wasn't ours, it was theirs.
Well, if they're chasing their stops and they kept relonging a downtrend, then that's still kind of on them, especially for that kind of side. Like, here's the reality: no one was thinking about what would happen with a leverage credit event like we saw in 2022. Effectively, like, these people should not have been leveraging so hard with other people's money that they couldn't back up. And who was it? Genesis that they borrowed from? I can't remember. Who did 3AC borrow money from?
Yeah. So I mean, Genesis was okay. So the ripple effect was so broad, man. Like I know that Genesis was on the hook because they had oh shoot, what was it? They had a shit ton of GBTC that they used as collateral also. They had what else? Like I don't know, man. It just the ripple effects. I'm forgetting the exact ripple effects. If you would have asked me this back last like November, December, I had everything memorized as far as the timeline. But you know, basically, here's what ended up happening, right? Like the Terra Luna collapse, right? Terra Luna collapse, 3AC goes down with it. You know, so 3AC gets margin called. They can't pay up. They're scrambling. And here is where the villain arc comes in, right? It is not necessarily for them the fact that they let everything collapse, right? Like, you know, I'm not going to blame that on them. Even them being over leveraged, not going to blame it on them. Where I think the really poor perception for them comes into play was the fact that they were still begging for money from other people without disclosing the full knowledge of the situation that they were underwater, right? So they were trying to continue to lever up to get out of the mess, you know, even when they knew that they were already underwater and couldn't pay back their initial debts. They were trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, per se. And that is where a lot of people ended up just drawing the line and saying, hey, not only did you add to the systemic risk that, you know, accelerated the broader collapse, but you also were dishonest about it and could have made it even worse in the process.
I think no matter what, Bitcoin was going to mark down, no matter what. because we did our cycle, we topped, everything was moving down, and they continued to chase leverage over and over. Like, they're definitely not the worst villain of 2022, but they're not heroes either. And they were fairly obnoxious with their leverage, and they paid the price for it. Well, they paid some price, but they shouldn't be allowed. They shouldn't be welcomed back into the space. Like,
but why not?
They broke so much with their carelessness. They'll do it again.
Well, okay, so for the devil's advocate point of view, and I've started to think about this, man. They are going to build like OpenX into something successful. They're going to. It's going to be a big exchange. I've got zero doubt at this point. And why do I say that? It's their exchange they started up. They've got a derivatives, like a purpose exchange. Why? Because like they're professional traders. They've got the connection still. They know how to build a big business. And they're going to make a solid platform because, again, like, they're professional traders. They know what traders want. So, like, naturally, I think people are going to start to gravitate toward it because you're going to reach a point where a lot of people won't even know that it's them that's connected to it. And then next cycle, as people start to gravitate toward it, you know, they won't even know the story behind Kyle and Sue. And they'll just care about what the current product is. So they're going to build something successful with it. Like,
I don't doubt it, but at the same time, I feel like a large swath of crypto Twitter is going to be like, yeah, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't.
But why not? Like, what do you think they're going to do? Do you think, is it because of a morality issue where you think that there's no second chances that should ever be given? You know, or do you think that it's because, like, again, I'm looking at it. Here's the deal. The more I've thought about it, I don't think that the entire collapse of everything is necessarily their fault. I think, again, the only things that they really did that I think were just scummy was trying to borrow more money past when they knew that they couldn't pay it back. Because I think everything kind of collapsed on them pretty hard, pretty fast. I don't think, you know, before that, their balance sheet was probably relatively healthy, like literally in April. So, you know, I think that things collapsed enough to where they were probably just scrambling. They did something really shitty whenever they were trying to scramble to be able to pay back as credit tightened. But that was their only real big thing that I think happened. Outside of that, like, you know, were other parties affected by the fact that they couldn't pay back some of those loans? Yes, but do I think that they're shitty human beings because of the fact that they couldn't pay back the loans? No, not really. I think that it was more of just the structure of the people that loaned them in the first place should have understood the risk that was going into it. Right? So, I don't think anybody understood the risk fully.
So my point of view is it showed very poor money management skills and credit management skills on their part, and I wouldn't necessarily want to trust them with any significant amount of money. Am I gonna throw $1,000 on there, or like 2,000, 3,000, and see if I can leverage it up to something else? Sure, maybe I'll play around with it, but I don't want any significant amount of money sitting on their exchange. Just the vibes are bad. Now, if they get a couple of years under the belt, sure. And if they're audited and they're actually like being very open about everything, okay, maybe. But as it stands now, like, I don't really feel that they are. I try to see the best in everybody, like, and I try to be nice. Like, you've seen how I tweet on Twitter generally, and I want to believe. I want to believe the best of everybody, but at the same time, their shenanigans caused a major liquidity event in the market that hurt a lot of people and possibly started the entire FTX problem. Sam was being shady for a billion different reasons, but they kind of exposed it on some level.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this was the 3AC collapse. This was the FTX collapse. 3AC, FTX.
But they're probably related, like, in regards.
Well, Luna UST, 3AC, FTX.
Yeah, like I think they were all just dominoes. Like
it was just a long drawn out liquidation event, like long drawn out liquidation cascade.
Correct. Like
I didn't see that they
need,
were fined by the Dubai Market Authority. So
look, the thing is, like, it depends on the structure of the exchange. It depends on how they're gonna prove to people that they're not running a Ponzi like Sam did, and it's a matter of, am I even going to be allowed to get on that exchange? Which is, the answer is probably not. So a lot can happen in 2 years, and we've got like another like year and a half before bull times are supposed to return. I'll see what happens, but like it's such a hot potato, especially with all of the other options that are coming online. Like, we're going to be able to trade on Coinbase, and I know Coinbase isn't like gambling with my money.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase futures are coming. Usman, by the way, Usman Ali, you take that out of your mouth. I don't care if we dislike Binance or not. We are not wishing a collapse for Binance for a final leg. Take that. Yeah. Take those words out of your mouth. Do not wish that evil upon us. We have had enough of that shit.
Don't look at the Binance or BNB monthly chart, and then don't think about what FTT looked like. Pull up BNB USDT and look at the monthly chart.
Okay.
This is going to depress you.
I know what you're... So here, chat, for just what he's talking about here.
Like, look at this. Look at this.
1 second. There's got to be one with more history, right? Oh, no.
No, it's BNB on Binance, of course.
Well, no, I'm just trying to show FTT as well, right? Like, because, you know,
that's not it.
What... Okay, this has the most history that I can find, Poloniex. But, okay, there you go.
I can't say it yet. All right, so basically there's like this big, you see this inefficiency that you had your mouse on a second ago on the left side. The markets like to fill those efficiencies, usually when there's some
right here.
Horrible, tragic event.
So you're looking at that, you're saying that, you know, let's just go back to the daily with this.
It's more clear on the monthly chart, but yeah, generally speaking. And I've posted about it. Like, look at this big green candle. That is an inefficiency in the market. And it's going to get filled at some point if something happens to Binance. And it's going to be tragic and it's going to be unpleasant. like I want to believe that Binance is fine. I want to. I really do, because for the sake of our industry, we cannot let this happen again. But the chart is just screaming to me that it's going to mark down.
I think you're right. Like, that is kind of scary, man. You're right. BNB is going to mark down. Like, it's a matter of when.
But if
the question is what happens to the industry after, right? Like, you know, are they legitimate about the fact that they're saying they're not using this for some massive amount of collateral that, you know, and like FTT was, and that there is no real credit risk across the industry? We will see, but I think you're right. Like, dude, this nukes.
If it's not the end of Binance, probably buy $40 and go all in on every crypto project you can think of. Like, if this is just like a really bad day for BNB and they recover, it's actually immensely bullish, because if they nuke all, you see the line at 40.
I think here's what happens, right? Like, you get something like this. Oh shoot, you can't really draw on the monthly.
Yeah, you can. What are you talking about?
Well, dude, look, the drawing only allows you to draw within the width of the candles. So drawing, you can't really get... I changed it to weekly just to get a little better on the... Okay. So I think it probably does something like this. You get a markdown. Who knows if it goes all the way... 50 is probably a bit aggressive. Unless, like, the thing really collapses. But something like that, you're right, probably not impossible. You know, so liquidation event and then slow grind back up would be the ideal scenario.
Draw the horizontal SR at that peak in 2019 June. Horizontal SR. Come on, you can do it. I know you. Wait. You love your diet.
The horizontal in June.
2019.
June of 2019.
Yeah, mark that level. It's so obvious. Just look at the bottom of your chart, buddy.
What are you?
June 2019.
June 2019.
The top, right there. Little higher.
Right there.
I mean, pretty much, but yeah, like that's kind of what I'm thinking. It probably looks clearer on the monthly, but like that region 40ish, if Binance actually
Oh, June
like,
2019, right here.
your feed's a little delayed, so I don't know, but yeah.
Well, okay, I think I think I was on that earlier, and because my feed was delayed, you didn't think I was on it. So there we go. So you think it retraces all the way back to those highs?
I think those big green candles get retraced at some point.
Dude, no way. Like, I don't think that happens
But-
all the way unless it is Binance fully collapsing. We don't get all the way down there.
If it's Binance fully collapsing, it's going to zero. But if it's just some like large market scare,
if it's just a large FUD, you're saying that we're going all the way down here, wicking, chopping.
Wicking 40 will be instantly bought up, probably. In my opinion, like that would be like a COVID event of some sort.
So you're burying this. You're Michael burying the BNB chart.
Pretty much everyone I know that looks at the BNB chart.
I agree. I think that it's going to collapse. I just 40 was a bit aggressive for me. I think, hey, 100 makes sense. Maybe wicking beneath it. But, I do think that that's probably a pretty solid short to start building.
Those big green candles eventually get retraced.
That Chartcraft needs some work. Yes, it does, Jet. It does. I'm not going to sit on here and tell you, if you guys are watching this stream for the best TA that's out there in the world, I am sorry to say you are not going to get it on here. I will be the absolute first person to say, I like to look at shit. I like to talk about shit, and I like to have fun with it, and I do trade. But
I keep my charts immensely simple on purpose, just because it's easier to communicate ideas. If you have 30 different indicators and SRs and whatever, it becomes a mess, and no one can read it except you. That's always just been my philosophy, though. But going back to Binance, it would take some kind of immense event to get us down there. But if it's not the end, then it'll swing failure and go up.
Okay, so
that's my opinion.
What do you think about BTC here?
So we just did. I tweeted about it.
AD,
actually.
no.
Pull up my Twitter account.
Okay.
I think I just posted about it a short while ago. The 50% retrace, which is what we did for the previous pullback. There's two charts there.
Okay, number one
was just kind of so I didn't mark it on the chart, but it was the 50%. It's also kind of like a meme support level there. And then the next chart was actually the fibs. So that's from the swing low that we had before the first run up, and then pull back into the 50. Same thing again here. So if this level holds, I think this could be a bounce zone, but I'm not super optimistic. And I'm not leverage trading this. I'm just DCA and pray right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin can have a leg down, but if you're not bullish on Bitcoin high time frame, then you're not bullish on the crypto space in general. And why the hell are you here right now at all? I mean, if Bitcoin's going to bounce back no matter what it dips down. So again, if you want to DCA into anything, DCA into Bitcoin. But
I mean, here I'll send you a chart that's really drives into how I feel about Bitcoin right now.
What the hell is this one?
It's just if you go to non-log scale Bitcoin and you just look at the long accumulation range that we had for 2.5 years. Where are you? Crypto Kaleo. And it's just anytime Bitcoin dips into this box, it was a good buy, no matter how you slice it. Because in 2 years, you just didn't care. You just really didn't. It didn't matter if you bought Bitcoin at 30K. It didn't matter if you bought Bitcoin at 14K and it marked down. Sorry, not 30,
so
30K.
Basically, y'all, what Dime has on his chart. Why do I have so much random shit on so many of these charts, dude? I just I wish there was a clear all button.
Right click, clear, remove drawings.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And you can always Control Z them if you want.
Which is undo, right?
Yeah. Just don't remove
sweet.
indicators and forget about it. done that
Okay.
a few times. But turn off log. It makes it much clearer, like how irrelevant bear market price action is.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like they hid the log button, by the way, if you didn't notice.
What's that?
Oh, you found?
No,
you
I turned it off.
on my-
I remember I'm delayed.
Yeah.
So basically what Dime is saying, you know, underneath that break, which I should change the color of those boxes, but screw it. He's just saying like down this.
If you bought Bitcoin at any point in that red box, you were thrilled, and you probably are still thrilled today. I made the box a little shorter than what you did, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
idea. Like if you mark the halvening, which is approximately like April 2024 with a horizontal line or something, it's like you can figure it out. Our halvening was July 2020.
yeah, it's going to be in April 2024, somewhere in there, early April, mid-April, late March, like somewhere in there, May 9th of 2020.
As far as I'm concerned, any buy of Bitcoin below 25K or even under 30K.
Under 30K is my, like, dude, I really think underneath this right here, anywhere under there, like, is a solid buy. You know, it's the same type of thing. If you really were more specific about this, right? If you just consider this a massive distribution range right here, like, and then had your sell off, all of this was the lows beneath it, you know, you get more specific with it there. You could compare this market structure to that one and say, hey, anything beneath there, solid buy, right?
I agree. I mean, it's just like the real thing that people don't think about, especially for the American people, is like this is the time to like start locking in those long-term capital gains because it'll save your ass whenever you go to sell. But effectively, like just DCA, not financial advice, DCA and pray, and then like keep a clip on the side for ETH and BTC whenever we have like any kind of serious red day, just buy some.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean,
I agree with you, man.
The market is a vehicle for removing the patient from their money.
But
That's
dude,
all it is.
I won't lie. Like I kind of look at this right here. I could see more downside coming still, and
I think the low is in, but I could see more downside coming.
it wouldn't be anything to scare me away from this market. Is the point, right? Like I could see more downside coming, and it's one of those things where if it does, it's just like it is what it is, right? Like chill, you know, survive this because we're right in this final stretch right here, y'all. We are in this final stretch right here, you know, as far as if we put up, you know, I think it was in July of 16, somewhere in here.
That's 2020.
Well, July of 16 was the last one before 2020, right?
Yeah.
So July of 16. So the last quarter, we're in this last quarter, right? Like it's a little bit of chop, but like look what comes later, the next quarter or two. So
the chop is not even on the chart anymore. Like it was so crazy to us at the time, but it's so relevant now. That's the point I was trying to make. Like no matter what price you're buying Bitcoin under, if you're buying it under 30,000, under 20,000, under 15,000, if we happen to get down there again, like it will pay off if the cycles continue.
No, I fully agree. And that's the big lesson, right? Like it's a bloody day. But the funny thing is, like, it's a bloody day, Dime. But dude, look at this. Like, we feel like it's this super bloody day, and I think it's because alts hurt so much. But like, look at that candle, right? Like,
this is the inherent problem with crypto market participants is they only look at those individual candles and they're trading leverage, and realizing that leverage is a tool that should only be used in certain situations and times, or when you can grab onto a very specific narrative. People, including me, and I've done this, people will sit in a leverage trade and force their idea. And I completely acknowledge that I've done this multiple times to my detriment. And they'll try to force a trade, but completely ignore the macro, completely ignore the phase of the market that we're in, and any other, like there's no indicator that is going to tell you how to do everything perfectly forever. And if it exists, no one is ever going to share it. But the reality is just grab onto a narrative, don't over leverage. Sure, do your 3 and 50x scalps and just have a very good plan for getting in and out. But
Well, dude,
it's
okay.
just this is the time to be buying spot and waiting for the good times to return. That's my humble opinion.
I've got to go over and talk about Pepe for a second because
That's fine.
fuck that one.
The chat will get upset. If
Yeah,
you know. I get
they
it.
will. They will. So I want to go over to it because obviously I've been wrong about this shit so far. So here's my deal. I've been stopped out of Pepe. I talked about this on the chat the other day where I was like, really, I'm not worried about it unless it breaks beneath right there, right? If this breaks, that breaks, I'm out, right? So I'm out. Like I got stopped out right here, 12 and a half. So my whole thing is that I'm looking at with it, like I'm out of this. Honestly, like I hate saying this, and it's one of those things because it's bag bias, right? And I like Pepe. I like the Pepe community, all that other stuff, but usually when I see this type of a fake out and it retraces straight through here, dude, like that spells lower for me. Like I would almost short that, and I think that's probably a solid short.
In a bull market, I mean, I wouldn't short it here, but like in a bull market, that kind of fake out would make me think super bullish because you know,
gun to my head, one or the other. Like gun to my head, I would say short over long, but I'm not touching it at this point because I feel like I don't have a good read. Where I would touch it, honestly, like I would re-long this, break above 13. So if we get a reclaim here and it breaks above 13, that's my trigger for re-longing. But outside of that, like I'm not touching it at all right now.
Hey, put it on the 12-hour chart for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I see on this chart? Very similar to the BNB chart. Those big green Chad candles get completely retraced, and as soon as they're retraced, it pumped. You see that? It just bled right into it until the candle was filled. The inefficiency was filled.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about with BNB. But I'm not trying to like get into this with you, but we talked about this the other night, and it's just it's probably just not time for meme coins. Yeah, there's going to be pumps. Yeah, there's going to be opportunities for you to fuck around a bit. And if you have a setup and an idea, absolutely go for it. But it's simply just not time.
So yeah,
it's not draw big triangle and buy breakout season.
It's not, and like that's the unfortunate thing. I really thought there were enough other factors fundamentally right now happening outside of it with the on-chain stuff. You know, as well as also with that carrot at the end of the stick that we've talked about with the Elon combo. And that's the thing, like I'm out of my Doge longs at this point. I got stopped out there too, and that hurt. But I still have a spot bag of Doge just because of the fact that it's one of those wild cards where you really just like, I still believe in the narrative that I talked about there about the potential for, you know, the Elon, whatever. And I still think that there's some things on the chart that you know, at least from the BTC side of it, where it's not completely unprecedented. I don't know, man, where you've had some breakouts like this and you've had some chop and you've had the pump afterwards. I'm going to just hold the spot because all it takes still is just one Elon tweet to really be able to send and get that squeeze. But I'm out of the long for now, right? Like I don't see any reason to play any type of leverage with this right now.
The Elon tweet effect stopped working. And then SNL was the obvious top.
But here's the thing though. I see what you're saying and I agree to a certain extent. But I think that it's been long enough. You know, it's like an addict, right? Whenever you take any type of substance for long enough, eventually it's going to lose its potency. It's going to lose its effect. But if you stop for a long period of time, you know, say that you're an alcoholic and you stop for a long period of time, well, all of a sudden, you know, if it's been years and you take a couple sips of alcohol, like boom, you know, you're probably going to feel it a lot quicker than, you know, and like, I think it's the same thing with Doge. He's not talked about anything with Doge since when was the last time? This was the April pump. And you're right, that was small, but I think a full integration again, you know, if nothing else, I don't know, man, maybe I'm overestimating the potential for it right now.
So Dogecoin was a product of a zero interest rate, infinite QE environment when money just didn't matter anymore and people were buying dog money. Like that's just how it is. You're trying to force the trade here, and you're like, oh my god, it's a breakout. It's time to long.
I think I am.
But the conditions are still shit. The conditions, interest rates are ridiculously high. The stock market is marking down. Dixie is on a fucking tear, and you're trying to base an investment decision off of breaking out of
You're right.
an
You're right.
imaginary line on a chart.
I
And
need this.
the
I need
ima-
this.
the
But
imaginary line on the chart is fucking awesome when the conditions are right. And you are a bull market warrior that is looking for the confirmation. You're chasing that dopamine high, and I don't blame you because I've done it. I don't blame you because I have done it too. But the reality is that this is not fucking breaking out.
yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, if you want to look at this like really objectively, like it's a lower high every single time, lower high every single time, or lower low every single time so far. I mean, almost weekly, technically, that was the first higher high that we've gotten since June 2022. So there was some possibility that this was going to get some kind of pump, but all it has now is just a bunch of resistance, and it needs to go sideways for another 6 to 18 months before it actually does something, in my humble opinion. I sent you a chart that wick from February 2021. I think that's going to get swept at some point, maybe even a little deviation below.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have it up on your chart, but
well, I'm on the BTC pair, but yeah, no, I see what you're talking about. And
it's just you. Dogecoin was a narrative.
Oh, what the heck? When did they add this on?
What on?
Did you see that?
What?
You'll see it on the stream in a second. The little Doge fist pump.
That's cute. They did that for Elon too. They had the picture of him smoking a joint on Rogan on the Tesla chart. I didn't see it, but some people got it, I guess.
You know, here's the sad thing, Dime. Like, if we're just looking at fake breakouts, like, sadly, this right here, you know, kind of looks like, you know, back over here.
Yeah.
Where you kind of got a little bit of a fake breakout, then retraced new lows. That's like, unobjectively, that's kind of more what I lean toward right now, just from the chart perspective. I see it going lower before higher. And I think the only thing that's holding my spot bags right now is the bias of the narrative and hoping that it's not washed up, right? You know, like hoping the X narrative is enough. But again, I think the one sobering thing that you're bringing up that's a really good point is the fact that if the market conditions are not right for it, the effect of that becomes more and more muted.
I mean, obviously, like X accepting Doge as a unit of transfer will be an immensely bullish catalyst, and it'll probably send it to 25 cents or whatever, or higher. But that hasn't happened yet, and it's simply not time to be leveraged on it. I mean, just look at the chart that you're looking at. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Every high is faded. Every high is faded over and over and over. This is the objective analysis that you have to look at. There's no narrative to grasp onto. The crypto market is very stagnant with like the lowest volatility of all time for Bitcoin. Like this shit sucks, and you cannot force the trade. I'm not going to tell you like
they're both painful.
Don't buy. I'm not telling you to buy or to not buy spot because it'll probably pump someday. But it's like, don't shoot your full clip here. Buy a little bit at 6 cents, buy a little bit at 5 cents, buy a little at 4 cents, 3 cents, blah, 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 average down. But the point I'm just trying to make is like, it's not time. I haven't touched leverage in 8 months. Like I just, in regards to crypto, mostly because I don't know where to trade it anymore, but also just conditions suck.
I'm a bit worried from one perspective, Dime, kind of like what you're talking about with the monthly on BNB. It's like that across all of these major alts, right?
Or most of the alts have already retraced 90%.
Well, but I mean, a lot of these that I'm looking at, right, where Doge has it. Pepe had the same thing, right, where you're looking at this and it's like, if it's not breaking up, you know, and if it doesn't get that break up, and even if it does, you know, break up and down, it's not unheard of. But a lot of these look like they could, right? If this doesn't hold, you know, same thing with Pepe. It's like there's air underneath it.
Yep.
And that's this one scary thing to think about from the chat perspective, right? Like, and again, this is me saying it where I still have a spot bag, but why I am not leveraged long at this point after seeing the retrace over the past couple of days. It is just one of those things where it's not worth it to like just hold on, like Dime said, shoot your entire clip for that type of potential breakdown, because like that's the thing that I'm trying to sober myself at, like with this conversation, is that, you know, I look at the BNB chart and I don't have bag bias, so I'm like, oh yeah, like that's bearish as hell, like I would short that easily all day every day. And then I look at this, and if I strip the name away, honestly, like this doesn't look too much different than that BNB chart. So like why fundamental, or technically I should say, not fundamentally, because fundamentally I know why, but why technically would I be more bullish on this?
Because you're chasing your high.
Yeah, like that's what it is. That's what it is.
I think you should get in the habit of spending more time on monthly charts and marking up horizontal SRs on that. That has been immensely helpful to me. But like you see that pump that we had in like July, was that July 2022? You can mark a horizontal SR right there, and you can just be like, oh, that was an area that was faded, that was respected. And there's some very obvious SR levels to mark on the monthly for Doge and for pretty much every other asset. I do this for ES all the time. I start on the monthly chart, I zoom out, I mark the very important levels in the wicks that I think might get filled in either direction, and then I effectively move down to the daily, but my monthly lines still remain there, and I work with that. Like that chart looks so sad.
No, it kind of does. And
I haven't actually looked at the monthly Doge, but it's just in general, it's still just a downtrend and there's no narrative. So
hey, and I'm sitting here and I'm admitting it. Like you know, and here's the deal. One of the other things too that you have to be able to do with anything in trading, honestly, is when you're wrong, be able to admit that you're wrong quickly enough. And I would rather admit right now that, unless, again, you know, like if this visits the monthly highs, then great, right? Like I think that would be an opportunity. If this wick reverses right now, you know, if this candle reverses, flips green, I think that might be a signal for me to re-enter. Who knows? Basically a reclaim back above 8. I would probably look at entering along at that point. But up until then, I just don't really see anything outside of, you know, even with the spot bags, it's like I look at this and it's like, shit, dude. Like,
even with a guppy, you will outperform most people.
Yeah. I mean,
like if you wait for a guppy to turn green and just sit in spot, you will, and then wait for it to turn like gray or signs of distribution, you will outperform most people ultimately.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Point being with this, like, I don't, best case scenario, I think that like somehow this does hold. Somehow you're looking, maybe we get lucky. It's like a wick down out of that, reclaims it. But, you know, point being, I think this is more of just a, you know, like, right now the market is just not in a leverage type of state, right? Like it is, yeah. If you want to play with leverage, you know, play in the casino that we were looking at earlier and buy yourself, you know, whatever the heck the next super ridiculous outlandish name is, and ride it up. Like, because you'll probably have a better chance right now than trying to 100x or 10x 5x long, you know, any of this other trash right now, price action that we're seeing in any of the majors.
The meme coins can pump because there's no way to short them, which is because it's literally a buy and sell only market. There's no leverage involved, but altcoins are already just leverage when you really think about it. So, but I don't want to dissuade people from buying crypto, because like, this is the time to be this is the time to be buying it. Like in general, like I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying, like, Bitcoin had an 80% correction. It's going to go sideways for 1 billion years. Buy the assets and buy the belief that you want to buy and just run with it. Like I've been buying a bunch of staking coins and I'm just like collecting yield on them, like Atom. And I think I have some Ethereum too that I staked on Coinbase. Like it's just time to buy trash and sit on it for 2 years and you'll probably be very happy. That's my philosophy right now.
Yeah, well, fair enough, man. I think like Yeah, you've got to have a long-term mindset right now with everything. I do want to ask the chat real quick. So, completely turned off music a while ago. You know, what are the vibes, the difference? Do you like the music or not? Just for future reference. Wanted to get a little bit of a, you know, a plus minus feel for it. So give me your feedback on that so I can take it into account for the next stream. You know, I always like to just be able to get a, yeah, it did get pretty serious pretty fast whenever I turned it off. Like, you know, the vibes changed. So,
Turn what off?
the music.
Oh,
Which you haven't
well,
been able to hear the music because like we're having the convo, so you just have Discord audio on. But I've had on like the big booty mix in the background for the actual YouTube stream. Yeah.
Okay, Leo, I kind of got to go. I need to.
Yeah,
get
but
some
I was
food
gonna
before I
yeah
go to
like
sleep.
time. That's actually what I was doing right now, is wrapping everything up. So again, if you guys have tuned in and you've not followed Dime, make sure to give him a follow. Really appreciate you hopping on, my man. And if you're in here for the first time, and if you're not, either way, and if you've not hit that like button, dude, there's no reason why we only have 42 likes right now. Bro, we've got 59 concurrent viewers. That's at least 17 of y'all at a minimum that have not hit it. That is ridiculous. So smash that like button, hit subscribe if you have not already, because, you know, do this, try to do it every single day. Gonna have a few days off this weekend while I'm traveling, but definitely gonna hit up another one of these tomorrow as well. Bring on more cool guests as we go, and we're gonna continue to grow this channel. Really appreciate y'all. We're gonna survive this bear market one way or the other. And yeah, Dime, thanks again for coming up, man. Really, really appreciated it as always.
Thank you for having me, mister.
All right, y'all. We will